German, and I'm whipping it round a suburban. Plodding on chase, gotta make the excursion. So I manage this shit like I'm Jaeger.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Ball Talk. In today's episode, we're gonna go on with the pattern I said we would, which would be talking footy, soccer, football, as well as the basketball we regularly have on the channel. So, like, in the time we covered, we had like a video up, but the files got corrupt, so we weren't able to upload the separate video. But like, these guys are like these players and these teams since the Club World Cup and the season has started, basically. I think they've been playing more or less how we predicted them to play. I honestly think, although being an Arsenal fan, without bias, I think the best team value squad wise should be Liverpool. But I think as a team, Arsenal do have exactly what it takes to win the league. With or without injuries, I think you can see the effect of having a sporting director that actually wants to win. Edu again, horrible, horrible guy for our club. Berto, on the other hand, has improved one of the biggest issues with this team, depth. Looking at last season, especially, despite having the most injuries in the, I think, big six of any big six in Europe, like you still expect to be able to carry out and perform. If you're fielding a defensive midfielder at striker, like it's bleak. So I'm happy that we got in some depth and we were able to perform and all. Now moving on to basically what has been the big occasion. Like last weekend, the Juve game, Thuram versus Thuram with Thuram in the stands. Like that game was insane. Juve now have just adopted this mentality where it's like, okay, who cares? Like they're just gonna go for it. Like I don't see any defensive solidity. Like which is one thing again, just bringing it back to Arsenal for whatever reason. I love about Arteta, like, despite what like critics would tell you or what the mass media pushes, or you hear Arteta ramble, that sound. I don't know if I find it, I'll put it in a video.
You mentioned the international break, Bukayo Saka after the break. You talk positively about.
But like, he's we play the highest line in Europe, like in England. Arsenal and City have the highest defensive line. So we play the highest line and at the same time control the games the most. Like Arteta loves to suffocate teams for chances, for shots. He's been doing this since 2022, 2021. Obviously, when you get the best players and you can perform what you want to do at the best level. Which brings me to a different topic. Ruben Amorim. United have been a horrible team for 3 years now, consistently. But I'm not like upset at United. I'm not upset at Amorim. I'm not upset at anyone really. I'm just like lost for words because it's like he knows the system he wants to play. Whether or not that system is effective is a different question. But he knows and he has a style of play he wants his players to perform in or perform on. But the issue is this two-man pivot with the players in the squad and the players around the pivot, it's not gonna work. Like Bruno and Ugarte is never gonna work in that system. I feel like right now maybe you put Rice and Caicedo and this system works. Maybe. And like still would not be the best with the wing back quality. I think Ahmad's a winger. I don't know have any idea why he is playing where he is, but I don't have a UEFA license to coach yet, so I can't make any. My decisions are less informed apparently, but it's just been insane to see like the Twitter, like United Twitter, the impersonating Amarim, whatever, going on live and just talking about we brought in the striker or whatever from from Germany. Like just like giving thoughts. I'm pretty sure that's not Amarim, but like it still sounds a lot like what you expect Amarim to sound like if he was on Twitter Spaces talking. Just a crazy, crazy night. Like, but back to now the Champions League. Like this new format, I think I've been one of the biggest supporters of it. Like even from its inception, because I like action. I love action. I obviously love to see my teams win, but when I'm watching as a neutral, I would love to see action packed games, action packed matches, even if it's like raw, where it's like a scrappy game, 0-0. I love to see just those aggressions from the players to one another, the willingness to fight for loose balls. I just love to see like some sort of action drama on the pitch, which is why when you have so many games, so many important games, it is amazing to watch. Obviously, Arsenal game week 1 took care of the job 2-0. Martinelli, Trossard, super subs, amazing. Everyone criticized Ateta for bringing him on, but then he brought him on. He scored, assisted Trossard. Trossard scores. So what are you gonna do? The boss made an informed decision and it worked out. And I had no problem with the decisions he's made. So far. Like my biggest issue with Arteta and Arteta discourse is the media has pushed way too many narratives. Like this morning, I saw a headline which was Arteta says they're Martinelli and Trossard are finishers, which is basically his way of saying I trust these guys if I want to win. They're clutch players, basically what I think he's saying anyway. That's my interpretation from the quote. But then you're on air talking about this is gonna cost Arteta. Like what? The Rice one over the weekend, which is why is he resting Rice? What you complain Arteta is running his players into the ground. Then you also complain he's not playing his best players. Like you can't win if you're this guy. They take everything he says out of context, or they pretend like he's just some arrogant, mad scientist when he's just trying to give his honest opinions on his club or his team. Again, I do believe there's a different type of bias against Arsenal, so it is what it is. Now back to the other games, the Chelsea game today, like. I'm not gonna lie, like I watched the highlights. I'm not gonna sit down and hate watch like if I don't have the time. I have some other responsibilities that I have to take care of. But like Caicedo, man, bro, you were awful today. And like obviously Rice Caicedo comes. Me as I'm an Arsenal fan, regardless of like unless they're not on any like the footing is so far off, I'm obviously gonna go with the guy that is my team, especially if they're on the same like type of footing, which I think they are. I think Rice can play anywhere more often than Caicedo can, but I think like Caicedo's strong suit is really on the defensive end. One thing I do notice is he commits a lot of like fouls, and he plays very well when he commits the yellow card and is at risk of being subbed out. Obviously, today wasn't too strong, led caused a lot of goals with misplaced touches, caused a lot of chances to be given away too. Was not the best on the build up and wasn't the best stopping the build up, which is what Caicedo's in your team for to begin with, right? But the memes, bro, that's what gets me. I do think he's a great player and he obviously bounced back from this, but like the Bayern loss is always gonna be there. I do think like Chelsea's team, I think they make it to at most a round of 16. If they make it to the quarterfinals, I think they're gonna either have in place with teams that are easier than them, like teams that are easier in the draw. Like they won't play like a super hard match in the round of 16 if they make it past that. But again, it's for football. Whatever happens, happens. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not gonna take offense to that. But I do believe like they're building, and with time they'll get better. My question for whatever Chelsea fan watches this is like, how is the money being utilized? Like you make sure you spend a lot of money, right? But you also keep making the claims like you sell, which they do. They do good business. That their net spend is a lot better than it should be because of how they do business, right? Got Madueke out of there for 55 bags. Uh Havertz out to got it went down to William before Todd Bowley came. David Luiz, Petr Cech, Like crazy, right? That's just like the Arsenal ones. But like, how do you end up with a squad? This squad isn't that good. Like outside of Palmer, Caicedo, uh, Pedro's okay. Okay, so uh, Pedro Caicedo, what's his name? What's Pedro Caicedo, Cole Palmer, uh, Cucurella. I hate Cucurella, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Cucurella on the day, and Reece James, obviously. Like that's it. Like you spending that much, like at the very least, the squad on average should be better than it is right now. I think that's like an issue for the team. But whatever it is what it is, right? So the way I look at it is I think that Maresca's coming and they're still gonna build more. So maybe 2, 3 years, maybe 2 years, or maybe next season at most 2 seasons from now, they'd be actually competing for like the title or like the Champions League. Because in my opinion, they're not actual competitors for either of these titles right now, but they can obviously go deep in runs, like make things difficult for the teams that are. And then I guess the other other games, Juve again, bro. Like Juve, I don't understand what the hell they're playing. This one is a player I want to give a lot of props to. Plays really well, like very good attacking player. Speaking of attacking players, I'm gonna switch to Arda Gunnar. This guy, like people talk about him like he's not as good as Jude. He's worse than Jude, significantly worse than Jude. He's not the strongest and he's not the fastest, but he's also not the most technically sound. He can't connect passes as much as Jude can. He can't move the ball as much as Jude can. But the guy that makes up for it is my favorite player in the world right now. Obviously, aside Saka, is Mbappe. Mbappe has been my best player in the world since 2021, in my eyes. Like, he's been number one best player in the world. Obviously, not the Ballon d'Or winner, but like, in my eyes, really no one is doing anything better than him, especially at his position, right? And he just does it consistently too. It's not like he got criticized for being Real Madrid's best ever debut goal scoring season that last year. Like obviously he didn't start the year off the best, but like it wasn't bad at all. It was just bad by his standards. Same thing with Erling Haaland, who I think is the best striker in the world. Like finisher striker, like out and out CF. I think center forward is the best in the world at his job. Like it's crazy. Then Mbappe has been bailing this team out. I think Mbappe is the offense at this point, especially in the Champions League game they played against Marseille, where it scored. Güler was awful, like horrible to watch. It's crazy when you see stuff like this because you get an idea of players when you don't watch games, but then when you do watch games, you do change this opinions you have. One thing I would say is people do criticize statistics way too much. You have enough of the right statistics, you know enough, like at least scale by. Like these players are not, these stats don't are not wrong. You're just misusing them or you're using the wrong stats or something. Like stats without context is can basically be misinformation. But yeah, that's the Madrid game, the Arsenal game, the Chelsea game. Tomorrow though, you do have FC Barcelona at St. James's Park. And obviously, I don't think my predictions for the game is it's not gonna be a bang for bang. Newcastle can go bang for bang with Barcelona of all teams. Speaking of Barcelona, just a quick tangent. Lamine Yamal. Obviously, you might have people that have issues with his like attitude or his lifestyle. Like it's totally fine. I obviously would prefer like Lamine to be more cautious with whatever he does, but ultimately it's not my decision to make. I'm not in any position to tell him what to do with the income he makes or whatever. But like, it's funny when they talk about like your mom can never be great again. He's gonna ruin his career. When Messi older than that was doing crazy stuff, going to crazy parties. Like it's crazy, man. Like the standards you have for these younger guys. Well, and these people of color too. But yeah, it's crazy. The St. James Park's Barker game, I think Newcastle are just gonna try and beat them physically. They have the taller players, they have the stronger players for the most part, and they're just gonna hammer down as hard as they pause as much as they can on the Barcelona players. Well, yeah. But I think Barca maybe come out on top, or it's a very, very scrappy draw. Maybe, God forbid, but like maybe someone gets hurt because these are Newcastle players, are supremely aggressive. Ultimately, though, it is what it is. We have your rate. Footy is footy, right? The greats are gonna be great. Mbappe, Harry Kane, they're gonna perform, and the best managers are gonna produce the best games. They're gonna produce the most control over games, and they're gonna give you the best results over time. But yeah, this was my first outlook on footy, soccer, football, whatever you call it, and this was from my eyes and my mouth to your ears and your eyes. But yes, if you did have a great time listening to this video, had a good time just enjoying the video, you have a different take, you disagree, you agree, just please leave a like, subscribe. Really helps the channel, helps motivate us as a group. And yeah, thank you so much. God bless and have a great rest of your day.
Really is quite fabulous, all his own doing. So is this the start of a comeback? Great vision. He had to make that